and families, Medicare, and group plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona is a local nonprofit health insurance company that can help you understand your options, no matter who you choose. Stay covered, Arizona. We've got your back. Learn more at azblue.com/options or call 1-877-475-8454. This message is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Want something fast and fresh for lunch? Try the Peter Piper Pizza all-you-can-eat weekday lunch buffet. Available from 11 to 2 every Monday through Friday, Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet is loaded with delicious pizza, fresh chopped salad, garlic cheese bread, and our famous cinnamon crunch dessert. Our dough is made from scratch every day and topped with real mozzarella cheese and the freshest ingredients. For the best all-you-can-eat pizza and salad lunch buffet in town, head to Peter Piper Pizza from 11 to 2 every Monday through Friday. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
Does your student struggle in a traditional school setting? For nearly 25 years, Primavera Online has helped Arizona K-12 students thrive with an accredited tuition-free education from home. Learn more at chooseprimavera.com. That's chooseprimavera.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Buckle up. It's going to be a blockbuster type of day in the NFL. Welcome into the Tuesday edition here of the lunch break right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Good to be back. A little under the weather yesterday. We're pushing onwards today. Producer Evan is on the other side of the glass, ready to take your phone calls, 480-864-1060. Producer Evan, you got to have the breaking news sounder ready to go on a day like today. We've already had one blockbuster in the NFL. The 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. for us here in Arizona trade deadline right around the corner. Feels like a lot of activity in front of us. But we start with the game last night. We start with the Arizona Cardinals coming out of their bye week looking good, looking fresh, picking up a nice road victory. And yes, a quarterback controversy.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Let's start with the game itself, and then we'll get into the aftermath of what the next couple of days are probably going to be like. A 27-17 win for the Arizona Cardinals, getting them to 3-5, getting out of the bye week with a victory. Longtime listener of this program know how I feel. You need to be the most prepared for 2 games on your calendar. Your season opener and your game coming out of the bye week. It is not an excuse to be unprepared for those 2 games. Those are the games you have the most time to prepare for. And boy, did the Arizona Cardinals look like a prepared unit last night. A exceptional first half from Marvin Harrison Jr., who we're going to talk a lot about today here on the show. Matched a career high in receptions just in the first half. His career high in receptions, I believe, was 6 going into the game. He had 6 in the first half, finished with 7 in the whole game. We can talk about the second half that he had, or lack thereof, a little bit later on in the show. Jacoby Brissett once again had this offense moving, 261 yards combined for 3 touchdowns. The defense played outstanding, actually finished a game, although they did get outscored in the fourth quarter yet again, 7-0, but didn't allow it to spiral from there, and they won the game outright. And it was a game where the defense forced 3 turnovers. Josh Sweat had a big night. Walter Nolan, in his NFL debut, looked every bit of a first-round pick, looked every bit of a first-round caliber player. And the Arizona Cardinals, for the first time since the month of September, played a complete football game. For the first time since their first 2 weeks of the season against New Orleans and Carolina, did the Cardinals win a football game. But not only that, they looked like a good football team in the process. Ran the ball well, threw the ball well, played defense really well, forced turnovers, finished the game, didn't falter down the stretch, did a exceptional job. And producer Evan, I don't know if you felt this watching the game, but going into halftime, scoring the touchdown, coming out of halftime, scoring a touchdown, getting the 2-for-1 special there, was able to really put a lock on this game when they went up 24-7. And you wish they would have had a little bit more of that killer instinct in the fourth quarter, and they would have gone for that big-time touchdown drive to ice it. But boy, did they take advantage of the mistakes that the Cowboys made early. Boy, did the defense earn their lunch yesterday, their lunch last night, playing the way that they played. But the storyline coming out of last night's game is you're excited about the win. You're excited that for a brief moment, don't know how long we'll be able to do it, but the season is still out there for them to capitalize on. They won a road game in which they weren't the favorite. They took care of business, pulled off an upset. They're 3-5. You could start to get the ball rolling here and at least keep yourself relevant late in the season. But you can only do that, I think, if you stick with the guy that played quarterback last night, because Jacoby Brissett made his 3rd consecutive start for the Arizona Cardinals. And Jacoby Brissett, for the 3rd consecutive week, had this offense looking like a much better version of itself than it did the first half of the season, the 5 games that Kyler Murray played to start the year. And that led to the comments after the game from Jonathan Gannon that I really think is overshadowing the game and the result, because Jonathan Gannon asked point blank after the game if there was any change in his thought process about who the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals is. And last night, after the performance from Jacoby Brissett, after the performance from this offense, after the performance from this team, he said there is no change. He has not changed his view on who the starting quarterback of this team is, meaning Kyler Murray is the starter if/when he is healthy. And that now is driving the conversation today. That now is driving the narrative. And I will tell you this. I heard the comments after the game and I saw everybody up in arms on social media about it. And I thought to myself, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to let the dust settle from the adrenaline, the emotion of the win last night wear off. I'm going to allow us to get to Tuesday, to Wednesday, and see now with a good night's rest, the game not immediately front of mind, him knowing that that question was coming and probably having a prepared answer, a canned answer in that way, what his answers sound like the rest of the week when he meets with the media, what he sounds like when he's asked again about it today, tomorrow, the rest of the week when he meets with the media. I want to let the dust settle because it's easy for him to have that canned answer afterwards. He may have a clearer head. He may look at the tape this morning, late last night, and have a different opinion. So I want to wait before we cast judgment on the way Jonathan Gannon answered that question. But I will tell you, him answering that question that way is not a great answer. It's not the answer that you all want to hear from him. It's certainly not the answer that I want to hear from him. Because if they lose that game last night, it's easy for him to have that answer. If Jacoby Brissett comes in, and yeah, the offense looks better, and yeah, the offense is scoring more points, and yeah, overall the numbers are better, and they certainly were again last night. 261 yards in the air, 340 yards of total offense, 5.2 yards per play. They rushed for over 115 yards, 4.1 yards per rush. They were great down in the red zone, which was something that producer Evan pointed out last week when discussing who should play quarterback. They were 3 for 4 down there in the red zone. They turned the turnovers into points. They controlled the time of possession. Everything, every box that you want a Arizona Cardinals offense to check. They did it last night, but they hadn't had the results with Jacoby Brissett. And so if Brissett was 0-3 and they lost that game last night, I think it's much easier to have the answer that Jonathan Gannon had in that game last night. It's much easier to say nothing's changed in that front because it's not like the results are getting better. Well, last night, the results got better. Last night, Jacoby Brissett matched 50% of Kyler Murray's win total this year. Jacoby Brissett last night did something that the Cardinals hadn't done since the second week of the season back in early September. So now it is a conversation. And now it does become something that if they get this wrong, not only could the results be bad the rest of the way, but you could lose the locker room. I want to bring producer Evan in on this. Did you hear Marvin Harrison Sr.'s comments yesterday before the game in that story that he gave to ESPN?
ESPN has a way of doing it where they drop that article the morning of the game. But yes, and at the very end, that is the money quote, right? That's the quote of quotes. If I was on this current Cardinals team, I would not have a Hall of Fame career.
Also said that he has a tough time watching his son play. He has a tough time watching the offense. And just for a brief second, we're able to do this now because they won the game. But think about how on a knife's edge the Cardinals season was last night. Because that story comes out in the middle of a 2-5 team that's lost 5 in a row, that we've been critical of the coach. We've said these next 10 games matter for you. The way you've played in the fourth quarter matters. You got to show me something over these final 10 games. And coming out of the bye week, prime time, everybody's paying attention to you. You have the Hall of Fame father of your number 4 overall pick from a couple years ago at wide receiver say it's a tough watch watching your offense, saying I wouldn't have a Hall of Fame career if I played for this team. You lose that game last night. Marv continues to struggle. You're 2-6. Boy, could it have teetered so quickly. And that's why you can't answer the question the way that you did last night. That's why you can't answer that there is no difference in the way you feel about the quarterback position after the way Jacoby Brissett and this offense played last night. Because now you have been given a breath of fresh air. Your offense looks infinitely better. You have Walter Nolan playing out of his mind last night in his NFL debut. You have Josh Sweat doing everything that you paid Josh Sweat to do. Let's give you the numbers on what Josh Sweat did last night in that game for the Arizona Cardinals. Next Gen Stats had him with 8 pressures and 2 sacks on 32 pass rushes. Everything that you paid him all of that money this past offseason to be. Walter Nolan in his debut as a rookie. A reminder for everybody, last year, Darius Robinson coming back from a similar injury, we said don't expect too much. Walter Nolan last night in his NFL debut, 3 tackles, 2 pressures, a sack, a tackle for a loss, 1 batted pass. That's what Walter Nolan did in his debut. You have a defense that got back an extremely talented player in Walter Nolan. And if that's what he can do in his first game, didn't have a training camp, didn't have a preseason, is walking into his first NFL action on primetime football on the road in Dallas for a season that's on the cliff. And he plays that well. Josh Sweat plays that well. You have a defense worth investing into. You have a defense and a team that is worth putting the best quarterback under center the rest of the way. And right now, the best quarterback for this team is Jacoby Brissett. And I don't want to hear that now Kyler Murray is a highly paid backup quarterback. I don't care. You have to play the quarterback that gives you the best chance to win. Because if you don't, if you're Jonathan Gannon and you don't play the quarterback that gives you the best chance to win, you know what happens? Losses pile up and you lose the locker room. Could you imagine, after the way they played last night, if they go back to Kyler Murray and they lose this upcoming week? Your season is going to teeter.
You lose the locker room. Especially, and the argument remains true. If you go 0-3, but the offense looks better, there's probably not even a question. You hand it back to Murray. Now we're looking at a team that played probably their best complete football game last night with the best quarterback they've had all year long under center, with the most efficient offensive game they've played. And not only on top of all of that, you know what else they did last night better than they've done in probably any game? Run the football. Amari DiMercato had 5.5 yards a carry. I think it's 5.6 total. And at the end of the game, you were able to run that clock because you were able to run the football after a fumble and get the ball back with 4.5 minutes, whatever the time was, and milk some clock because you were able to run the ball for some first downs. They haven't been able to do that at all with Kyler Murray under center.
Watching that offense last night, it was chunk play after chunk play after chunk play in both the run and the pass game. Think about the way they started the second half. The first play from scrimmage was that play action crosser to Michael Wilson that set them up immediately in the red zone or just on the fringes of the red zone. Then after that, I think it was a DeMercado carry that took him inside the 10. I mean, within a flash, they were in the red zone threatening to score a touchdown. They had 2 drives in that game last night that were 70-plus yard touchdown drives. They hadn't had that all season. That's how well the offense functioned last night for this team. And that's why this entire week, it doesn't matter what Jonathan Gannon said last night. This entire week, we're going to do it. Fans are going to do it. You're going to do it. The media is going to do it. This entire week is going to be about who's playing quarterback for the Cardinals in their next matchup.
I mean, you talked about the drive coming out of half. You went Michael Wilson for 50. Then Bam Knight got the ball. He picks up 17. And then you have a penalty. But then you hit Trey McBride for a 12-yard touchdown. At the end of the day, it's a 3-play, 74 yards coming out of the half. And arguably the most impressive thing, the most impressive stat for this team last night. Do you know how many times they were penalized?
I do not. You're going to tell me, I think.
Twice.
You play clean football on the road. You run the ball well. You're efficient. It just works. It looked like what it was supposed to look like last night. You have 3 drives in the game. The first scoring drive that they had, 15 plays, 60 yards, they kick a field goal. They're a touchdown drive going into half. These are the 2 drives going into half, coming out of half. 11 plays, 74 yards, took them 3 minutes. They're on the board. They come out of the half. It's 3 plays, 74 yards. They take a 24-7 lead. Those are their first 3 scoring drives. They had an 8-play, 47-yard touchdown that took them up 10-0. Those were their drives to score points in the first half to start the second half. Chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. They weren't doing that with Kyler. They weren't doing that under the previous quarterback under center. And that's why this is going to be a conversation all week. And it has to be, because I still think Jonathan Gannon is coaching for his job. And if he makes the wrong decision here and this thing spirals and they do not win football games, his decision to stick by Kyler, and I don't care if it comes from up top, you have to do what is right by your team, what it gives you the best chance to win, and what keeps your locker room intact. And right now, how is that not Jacoby Brissett playing quarterback?
If I'm in that locker room, and I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure if you were in that locker room and you're giving your all for now a 3-5 football team that has a puncher's chance to make the playoffs, because let's face it, in the NFC, that 7 seed is open. Wide open. We're talking about the Panthers in conversation, the Bears, who have a ridiculous schedule, in the conversation. You have teams that spot is open. And the Cardinals could be the team taking. If I'm in that locker room and you turn back to Murray, I mean, that's throwing away my chances, it feels like. How do I not turn on the head coach at that point?
That's the worry that I would have. That's the worry that I would have if I was Jonathan Gannon. And not only is Jacoby Brissett the right player right now for this offense, if they want to, like you said, make that run for the 7 seed, but also you need to save your job. And what have we always said? We talked about this with Torey Lovello at the end of the baseball season. When you lose a locker room, you can't recover from that. And this is one of those decisions that he has to get right, because if he loses the locker room, it's going to be easy to move on from him at the end of the year. So they have to get this right. This is going to be a conversation all week. We're going to talk about it from the Marvin Harrison Jr. lens as the show progresses here, because he had a huge night last night, and I think that should factor into all of this. It's a huge win for the Cardinals, but because how big of a win it was, it sets up so many questions for the rest of the week. Now, producer Evan, I need you to do me a favor before we go to break. You need to play everybody the sounder that they may or may not hear over the next 2 hours, because it is NFL trade deadline day. And for the Cardinals or for anybody else that makes a big-time trade, we're going to break into whatever we're talking about, and we're going to give you that news. So what is the noise that everybody's going to be listening for today? That's it. If producer Evan hits that button, something's happened in the world of football. Now, we would have played it if we were on the air in the 10 o'clock hour, because the Jets made a trade, getting 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell, producer Evan's favorite receiver, A.D. Mitchell, for Sauce Gardner. Blockbuster trade in the world of football. So maybe there'll be more blockbusters as the show progresses, but if a big-time trade happens, that's the sounder you'll hear, and we will break it down here on the show. You want to join the program today? You want to share your thoughts on the game last night? Who you think should start for the Cardinals here this upcoming Sunday? 480-864-1060. We'd love to hear from you today on the program. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, a perfect weekend for the Phoenix Suns. We'll talk about it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
This is what I mean when I say that was a collapse for the ages. An all-time tank job. Not only did the Giants lead 19-0, going into the fourth quarter, they scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they still lost. The Giants were 99.8% to win that game, according to ESPN, but according to the Broncos, the number was actually 0.0%.
Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Head coach Brian Wright and the Lumberjacks are setting a new standard in Flagstaff.
Happy with our attitude, our effort, how we've come together as a football team.
Join us Saturday. NAU hosts the Northern Colorado Bears. Our coverage begins at 2 on your home for Lumberjack football.
Skips his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Lumberjacks.
The NAU Lumberjack Sports Network from Learfield.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger, in my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
We are cow caretakers.
We are the real milk champions.
We are the dairy farmers of Arizona.
We provide sustainably produced products.
We are stewards of the land.
We are community-minded.
We are proud protectors of the world's greatest recyclers.
Hey, 40% of a cow's diet is food waste that would end up in a landfill.
We produce high energy, rapid recovery, and better hydration than water.
We are proudly local and forward thinkers.
We are farm to fridge in 48 hours.
Milk. It's undeniably dairy. A message from your Arizona milk producers.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. It's been a few days, and it's still hard to wrap my head around how amazing that World Series was. I can point to at least a half a dozen plays in Game 6 and 7 and say, I still can't believe that happened. It's hard to believe any of it happened, much less all of it happened, but it did. And as absolutely gut-wrenching as it was for the Blue Jays and their fans, don't get it twisted. The better team won. If you want to try to argue that the better team doesn't always win in a one-game playoff, I might entertain that. But get out of here with the better team didn't win here. The better team always wins a best-of-7 series. To be the champ, you have to beat the champ, and the Jays had several opportunities, but they couldn't get it done. You can Dodger Jim me all you want, but the Jays didn't lose this series. The Dodgers went into their house, and they ripped it from them. And no, they didn't buy that ring or this dynasty either. They earned both, legitimately. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old, so don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today, use the code ROME, and get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROME on Prize Picks to get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
Oklahoma City taking out everybody on their way to a championship. One of the youngest, I think they average 26 years old, Rich. As long as they have the Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan machine, or at least one person on that team, hopefully it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They have a chance. And listen, it's human nature to be the best and think, I'll be the best again. And then you fall short. I'm going to say Oklahoma City will not go back-to-back.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
We are going to do the NFL Rewind here coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream, Brian says, bold strategy, Cotton, with the lunch break taking the day off. As if we were trying to take the day off yesterday. I was under the weather, was not feeling good. And so I figured it's better to just miss the one day than to try to push through and then miss 3 or 4 days. So here we are the day after. We're feeling okay. I would say we're at like 65, 70% of normal health. I just have a really bad sore throat. It's just irritating me. And you can imagine how difficult that makes this job when that's what's going on. But we'll push through. We'll push onward. Adam Schefter just was on Pat McAfee's show and said that there's more trades coming, that there's a lot going on right now in the world of football. So I expect that we're going to hear that sound or a bunch throughout the course of the program. But a quick timeout from the world of football, because I wish we were on the air yesterday to be able to talk about this. But I mean, producer Evan, we got our NBA Cup win. I mean, the Suns 1-0 in NBA Cup play. And not only is it a 1-0 by beating the Jazz, and again, winning one of the games that you got to find 3 wins to have a shot at this. So they got off to a good start, and they beat the one team that you think that they could definitely beat, Sacramento, who they've already beaten also in their group. But more importantly, it was a blowout. The point spread matters here. Your margin of victory is the tiebreaker to win a group or to potentially be that first wild card team to get into the bracket play. So not only was it a win against Utah, not only is it a 1-0 start to the Cup, but they won by 22 points? I mean, couldn't have imagined a better start for us in the NBA Cup.
22-point differential for the Suns. Nobody else has played in Group A, so why don't you gander over to the standings?
I don't care about who hasn't played. That's right. Top of, what are they in, West C? West B? What group are we in?
West Group A.
West Group A is our group. Okay. As longtime listeners of this program know, we've adopted the NBA Cup. We're all in on the NBA Cup this year for the Phoenix Suns. Off to a great start, 1-0, top of the group. Doesn't matter that no one else has played. Just matters that the Suns are right now atop of that group. And you're thinking that that's going to be the peak of the weekend. You're thinking winning an NBA Cup game, starting off well, winning big over Utah, taking care of business, getting revenge for what happened early in the season against that team. That was going to be the big thing of the weekend. Well, you follow that up on Sunday by handing the San Antonio Spurs their first loss of the season. And San Antonio, 5-0 up until that point. And I did not know this. Maybe you did, producer Evan. That was the first time that the Spurs have ever started 5-0 in a season. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, those guys didn't do it. Wemby and the Spurs, first time in franchise history that they've started 5-0, and you hand them their first loss. About as perfect of a weekend as you can get for the Phoenix Suns. You go 2-0, you beat a Spurs team that's supposed to be very good this year. You start off the NBA Cup group stage with a nice victory. And yes, this is what this early part of the season is going to be about. Extremely high highs like this weekend and extremely low lows of that 4-game losing streak. But now you're starting to see some positive momentum. And oh, by the way, still no Jalen Green. Doing all of this not at 100%. Not looking like a full operational unit 7 games into the season, 6 games into the season. They play again tonight. They're at Golden State here. Should be a tough matchup. Should be a nice little road test for this team tonight. But a perfect weekend and an example of what it's going to look like when it's going really well. And I think a reminder for all of us that it's going to be volatile. Highs and lows. But the highs felt really good. I asked this question. And maybe somebody will point out a stretch of last year where they felt differently. Were there 2 better wins last year at any point during the year than winning your NBA Cup game on Friday and then beating the Spurs and handing them their first loss on Sunday or Saturday?
Probably not. Like, in all honesty, probably there was not two better wins than those two.
And you've had that already 7 games into the season. Just a great start for this team this year. What are they, 3-4 now? Producer Evan, do some math. Are we on pace? Are we on pace for 30? Winning 3 of 7? What does that give us winning percentage?
3-4. Give me a second. I'll do some math.
We're close to 500. 500 is 41. I think we're well on pace. It's a great weekend for the Phoenix Suns. And again, it's only going to get better because they're still not fully healthy. You're still not seeing a ton of impact from the young rookies that they drafted. So still, not only are the results now stacking up here over the last couple of games, but you've now got room to grow. You're going to get Jalen Green back. You're going to get these rookies more involved as the season progresses. So there is more room for this team to grow and for the results to get better and better as the season progresses.
Currently on pace for 35 wins.
Which is short of what they won last year. They won 37 last year. You gave me a look like you don't think I'm correct. So I can see you frantically typing away to make sure. I think they won 37 games last year. They won 37 they won 37 games.
They won 36 games.
Okay, never mind. They won 30. They won 36. So we're right there. Right there to do exactly what we said, which is win more games than a year ago. So a great weekend. 1-0 in the NBA Cup. Hand the Spurs their first loss. Now they roll that momentum into a road game tonight against Golden State before a home-and-home with the Clippers the rest of this week. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, it is the NFL Rewind. Yes, we will do it anyway. We'll go through all of the action from over the weekend, and we'll give you our thoughts on the games. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Shohei Ohtani had 2 home runs, 2 doubles. They also walked him 5 times, 4 intentionally. They've gotten to the point where he's getting Bonds treatment. I want you to pitch in shame. If you're going to intentionally walk him, I want you to throw the 4 pitches that look silly because you don't want to face him. I don't want it to be, hey, we're going to walk him and I point him to first base. Nope. I want you to acknowledge that you can't get him out and you throw those 4 pitches.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m., right here on KTUS AM 1060 and the KTUS 1060 app.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting the Ghost of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. November 30th, 2 shows, 3 and 7:30 p.m. PHX Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, presented by 100.7 KSLX.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Fulton Homes celebrates Veterans Day by honoring the Pat Tillman Foundation and their nearly 1,000 Tillman Scholars. Now through Veterans Day, Fulton Homes and the Big Red Radio will honor a different Tillman Scholar and share their story. Fulton Homes is proud to support the Pat Tillman Foundation with a donation in honor of each weekly scholar. The Pat Tillman story is well known, and his principles and service are his true legacy. The Pat Tillman Foundation carries forward that legacy by giving service members, veterans, and military spouses who embody those principles the education, support, and leadership tools they need to reach their fullest potential. This Veterans Day, join Fulton Homes and 98 KUPD as we honor and salute the Pat Tillman Foundation and their Tillman Scholars. For more information on the Fulton Homes Veterans Day Honor Roll, go to 98kupd.com/honor roll and join the salute.
Join ASU women's basketball this Saturday on KDUS AM 1060. The Lady Sun Devils are ready to attack the courts and give it their all against Eastern Washington. Jeff Munn will have the call live from Desert Financial Arena this Saturday afternoon. It's ASU versus the Eagles of Eastern Washington. Pre-game coverage starts at 1:30 p.m. and tip-off at 2 right here on KDUS AM 1060, online at KDUS1060.com, and streamed on the KDUS 1060 app. Go back into the program, buy or sell, coming up in about 10 minutes or so from now. Keeping an eye on the NFL trade deadline, which gets done 2 o'clock today. So teams have up until 2 o'clock here locally to get stuff done. And it does feel like a lot is going to happen here. There's going to be a flurry of moves here over the next couple of hours. But in the middle of all that, we will do the NFL Rewind. I did miss it yesterday. It was around this time yesterday where I thought, I'd be playing the NFL music and I'd be talking about all the games. Didn't do it. We talked about doing it this morning and we're like, yeah, you know what? We'll do it anyway.
You have to do it. It's become a tradition for us.
Not a Tuesday tradition, but yes, it is the first show of the week tradition. So with that in mind, your tour guide around the NFL, producer Evan, take it away.
We'll start with the game of the week, no doubt. The Bears took on the Bengals in Cincinnati, and what was back and forth ended with a Colston Loveland long touchdown. Bears 47, Bengals 42.
The Cincinnati offense might stage a revolt against the organization. They are not happy with the defense, and it's not in a way that you can just see their displeasure. They are now going out of their way to voice their displeasure. I don't envy the job that Zach Taylor is going to have to do here to try to keep this group together. I mean, you score 42 points and it's not enough. Like Jamar Chase, I can't say exactly what he said here on the radio, but one stop. That's what they were asking for. One.
It was something like they're the first team to give up score 38 plus in back-to-back weeks and lose both games.
It's going to be a tough task.
The Vikings, in one of the surprises of the week, in J.J. McCarthy's return, beat the Lions 27-24. Fun little stat line in this one. J.J. McCarthy, 143 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and a pick. Both of his wins in the NFL, same exact stat line.
I am irate with the Detroit Lions. Irate. You're coming off of your bye week, and you're this flat against the Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy. It's just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. You're coming out of the bye week. You can't be not prepared for this team. They've looked awful for weeks. J.J. McCarthy, outside of a fourth quarter on Monday Night Football against the Bears, was not good before he got hurt. You allowed that team to beat you? Disappointing.
Another crazy game. The Panthers hang on at the end, kick a game-winning field goal in Lambeau. The 5-4 Panthers beat the 5-2-1 Packers 16-13 on the road.
You must be over the moon. I mean, you must be thrilled. Your Panthers are just making a push.
The way they run the football, I mean, it's among one of the best running teams in the league.
They are a really good group. Right now, at 5-4, just a half game out of the 7 seed in the NFC.
Same record as the Chiefs, by the way.
You sent that in a group text. I think it was Sunday afternoon, because I was out at the NASCAR race, and you sent in a group chat that we have with one of our other football friends that the Panthers and Chiefs have the same record. You just love clowning on the Chiefs at any chance you get.
You want to do a little blind resumes here?
Sure.
All right, let's look at Team A. A win over the Giants, a win over the Ravens, a win over the Lions, a win over the Raiders, and a win over the Commanders.
I think that's the Chiefs, is it not? That's the Chiefs' resume.
That's Team A's resume.
Team A is the Chiefs.
Team B, a win over the Falcons, a win over the Dolphins, a win over the Cowboys, a win over the Jets, and a win over the Packers.
Well, this is cheating because I know you put the Jets in there, and so I watched this game. So Team B is the Panthers.
Correct.
Team B's got the better resume.
Yes, they do.
The Carolina Panthers, 5-4.
The Chargers get back on track here and beat the Titans in Tennessee. Needed a little bit of extra juice to do it.
I'm out. I'm out on the Chargers. What did I say in the look ahead on Friday? This is what you couldn't do in this game. You couldn't play with your food and allow the Tennessee Titans to hang around. Out on the Chargers. Out. O-U-T, out.
They're the first 6-3 team that I think could lose any given week.
Out. O-U-T.
The Falcons traveled to New England and put up a fight late with 2 scores in the fourth, but couldn't get it done after missing an extra point. The Patriots hang on 24-23 at home.
This is kind of the way the Patriots are going to play. I know we've been very excited with the progression that we've seen from Drake May, but they are at a talent deficiency compared to most teams. So they're not going to dominate teams the way we've seen like the Colts do. I don't think they have that level of talent. And so they are going to kind of play these types of games. Disappointing because I took them I didn't get any points over the weekend in the picks. It's unfortunate that they're going to have to play these types of games, but this is kind of where they're at. Let's see if they make a trade today. They could add a running back, I think, by the end of the day.
Yeah, they could add a lot. They just need a lot of talent across the board. They don't have a lot of weapons in that organization at all.
No.
The 49ers traveled to New York and beat the Giants 34-24. Mac Jones gets it done again, 19 of 24 for 235 and 2 touchdowns for Mac Jones.
We got the Honda Civic back on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Everything's fine. We got some fresh tires. We just did an oil change. We put that baby through the car wash. She is purring on the highway. She is just moving down. That's what that game was yesterday. We got the Honda Civic, which is the San Francisco 49ers, back cruising on the highway. Not going to wow you, not going to impress you, but get the job done. That's what the 49ers did on Sunday.
The Colts traveled to Pittsburgh and for the first time this year got punched in the mouth. Steelers 27, Colts 20.
And you see how they reacted to losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Made a big move, traded 2 firsts and a player, A.D. Mitchell, to go get Sauce Gardner. This is the worry that a lot of people had about the Colts, right? Their resume didn't have a lot of marquee wins. Their 2 losses this season to the Rams, a good team, and now to the Steelers, another good team. That's the worry. How would they stack up here against these teams? They're going to get another test here in a couple of weeks against the Chiefs. Let's see how they handle that game as well.
The Denver Broncos moved to 7-2 with a last-second field goal. Another fourth-quarter comeback for the Broncos. They score 11 in the fourth to beat the Texans 18-15.
This is what they do. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think you win playoff games this way. But they find a way to win in the fourth quarter. They did it against the Giants. They did it again here against the Texans.
Duval, the Jags with a 30-29 overtime win over the Raiders. Good to see those new overtime rules in effect.
Does this make you feel any differently about the Jags?
Yeah, I think they stink.
Well, no, that's what you thought already. So, like I said, does that make you change how you think about the Jags?
Not at all.
Yeah, no, this game, impressive outing from the Raiders, though. Showed some fight, which I think they're going to need to if Pete Carroll's going to stick around after 1 year. So they did show some fight in this game. Almost pulled off the upset.
The Saints traveled to the Rams and everything went LA's way. 34-10 Rams. Couldn't get it done. The Saints couldn't.
The Tyler Shuck era, not off to the best start. And I think it's fair to say the Saints will more than likely be in the quarterback conversation here all spring long.
The game of the week, game of the year every year. Bills play the Chiefs at home. Bills get it done 28-21, and the greatest team ever loses on the road in Buffalo.
Well, now we know that Buffalo will retain their spot in the Schubert scale and in Evans risers later on in the week. That was what this game was about. The Chiefs out of the honorable mentions. It was a short-lived run for them as an HM. They're out this week.
They have 4 losses.
Yeah, they're not going to make the list. There's a better chance the Panthers make the HMs over the Kansas City Chiefs this week. How about that?
Better resume.
Better resume.
In Sunday night, the Seahawks lay it on the Commanders 38-14, and a devastating injury to Jaden Daniels late in this game.
Fair to criticize Dan Quinn for keeping him in the game. Felt like a big mistake. Now, we are using the benefit of hindsight and seeing him get hurt, but I think everybody realized that game was not going to go the Commanders' way, so it felt like a bit of a miscue there. But boy, is this a problem for the Commanders, because you now have a quarterback that has had multiple different injuries keep him out. And us here in this market know all too well, when Jaden Daniels got here to ASU, what was the criticism of him? Small quarterback. Could that frame stay healthy? That was the question at the collegiate level. It then became a question when he got drafted, and he had such a great rookie season. The Commanders, results-wise, had such a great year, making that improbable run to the NFC Championship that it kind of was forgotten about. And now here you are seeing that concern come to life, and I think it is a concern that's going to stick around for a long time, because if he can't stay healthy, it doesn't matter how talented he is. Your best ability is availability, and his availability this year has been really bad. That is your Week 9 NFL Rewind. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 1 here of the program. A little buy or sell, hottest takes in the Valley, either buying or selling them next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
NAU men's basketball action over on KAZG 1440. Join the Lumberjacks live as they prepare to give it their all against Justice College this Friday night. Head coach Shane Burkhardt looks to bring the Lumberjacks to new heights in the 2025-26 season. Join Mitch Stroman live on the call from Flagstaff. It's NAU versus Justice College this Friday. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. and tip-off at 6 over on KAZG 1440.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner at A1 Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
Ooh, Del Taco? Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
Big boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah? Del, yeah.
What was that? Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Del Taco's El Big Boxes now come with bigger burritos. Try the $5 Classico, $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box. More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah.
Price of participation may vary. Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer. Selling your house right now the traditional way isn't so easy. The average home is taking months to sell. Fortunately, I can help. I'll come to your home and give you a cash offer within minutes. Then we can close in under 5 days. And I'll make sure you get as much money for your house as possible. Call me, Andrew the Homebuyer, today, and let's get your home sold. Visit andrewthehomebuyer.com. That's AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
And LSU said, yeah, we've had enough. They've had enough of the experience of Brian Kelly losing 3 out of the last 4, and 2 of which he lost to his coordinator. They were ex-coordinators of him. And the last 3 coaches they've had, they've all won national championship within 4 years. Coach O did it. Les Miles did it. Nick Saban did it. Brian Kelly did not. Yeah, out. Now the question is who they bring in.
Back Coach O.
Can't wait to see who that's going to be. No, I think he burned in bridges.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back here on the program, wrapping up hour number 1. Thanks for hanging out with us. KDUS AM 1060. Hottest takes in the Valley. Producer Evan has them. I'm buying or selling them. I haven't heard the sounder in a little bit. So that means it must be quiet right now on the NFL front.
Pretty quiet, actually, right now. I keep checking Twitter. Pretty quiet, but I think there's a lot of trades coming here in the near future.
So with that in mind, let's get into buy or sell. And just know, like, Producer Evan is working with one hand tied behind his back today. His headphones were not working in the pre-show. So he has to turn his microphone off in his studio so that he can hear me talk. And so he has the time when he jumps in. So he's fighting it a little bit today. He's doing a good job so far. I can tell he's trying to time when I'm going to finish talk to turn on his microphone. So he's doing a good job today.
It's always been a challenge. I've had to do this maybe twice. Today when my headphones didn't work, and then the headphones we have in here weren't working, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
With that in mind, let's get into buy or sell. This is where it's really going to test us here. This is going to be a test.
We got through last segment. I think we'll be good here. ASU will be playing for a chance to play in the conference championship late in the year.
I will sell this take. I know Jeff Sims had a great game on Saturday. None of us expected him to be able to play that well. He was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week last week, running the football, being a dual threat quarterback, adding an extra element to this run game. ASU really, it felt like, completely reinvented their offense to work with Jeff Sims' strengths and avoid his limitations as a thrower. I just don't know how repeatable that's going to be over these final 3 weeks. I would love it. It would be a coaching job of all coaching jobs to be in that situation the last week of the season. And I don't think it's because of what ASU is going to do. I think they can beat Colorado. I think they can beat West Virginia. It's just I don't know if everybody else is going to play their part to make that last week matter.
This week went really well for ASU with some of the teams losing. You almost need BYU to go undefeated and beat everybody else and then have everybody else beat themselves up. It's a tough ask, but it is possible. It's just you need a lot to happen. So I agree with you, but a fun one there nonetheless. The Cardinals will need to win the next 2 games if they want to get this thing back on the tracks and try to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll buy this. And here's why. I think at 3-5 mathematically, it's still there for them, right? We just mentioned that the 7 seed is 5-3. That's only a 2-game difference. They're 1 game out from being in the same spot the Carolina Panthers are in, right? So it's right there in front of them to be hovering around being in the playoff mix. I think why they need to win these next 2 games, not just to get the 5-5 and feel good about yourself. It's about the positive momentum, right? They won those first 2 games early in the season, but it was against the Saints and the Panthers, and then they went on that bad stretch. They need to build some goodwill again. They need to build some confidence again. 1 win, 1 game coming out of the bye week when you had extra time to prepare. You're playing the Cowboys on Monday night. That's not enough for me to believe again in what this team is doing. And then add on top of it, I don't know who's playing quarterback this week. Like, that is a legitimate conversation we're going to have. If they go back to Kyler, I don't know if they can win 2 games in a row to get back to 5-5. So I don't know. I will buy the take that they need to win the next 2 games to get back in it, because not only do they need to get to 5-5, but they also need to show all of us that what they did on Monday is sustainable.
The Suns will start a really good stretch with how they played over the weekend. In their next few games, you have the Warriors on the road, Clippers at home, Clippers on the road, Pelicans at home. Could you win 3 of 4?
You want me to find 3 wins here against Golden State, 2 against the Clippers, and New Orleans. I like your chances in the home game against New Orleans. You got to split the Clippers games and win tonight at Golden State to get to 3. I don't know about that. I think you take 2 and 2. I think if this team, in these types of stretches, if they go 2 and 2, that's a 500 basketball team. Nobody expects them to be a 500 basketball team. Their win total's 30.5. So 2 and 2 is exceeding expectations. I know that's hard for some people to wrap their head around, but going 2 and 2 in this next 4-game stretch puts them on pace to what? Go 41 and 41? That would beat their win total by double-digit games. So I will take 2 and 2 in this stretch. So I will sell 3 of 4, but 2 and 2, if you do that, I would be thrilled. Thrilled.
There will be at least one more blockbuster trade today in the NFL.
Oh, I think we're in for a couple of blockbusters. I think Bradley Chubb could be on the move. You threw out that Chris Olave could still get moved. I think the Jets aren't done. I think Breece Hall could be on the move. I think Quinnen Williams could be on the move. I'm trying to think of some other big names that could be out there on the move from some sellers. Those are some of the big names out there that could be moved. No, I don't. Out of nowhere, one of the best young corners in the game who just signed a 4-year, $120 million contract extension was moved. Nothing's off limits right now in the sport of football. Nothing. If that guy can get moved, any deal could happen today.
I said this when you walked in here during the break, but to this point, this is the craziest trade deadline in the NFL I can remember in my lifetime. I don't remember a player like Sauce being traded at the deadline for 2 firsts in the last 10, 15 years.
It has been a lot of rumors going into it, which there normally is some level of rumor. But it has been a lot of activity here. The Cowboys made a big trade. They got the linebacker Wilson from Cincinnati, who hasn't been very good and was benched and part of that Cincinnati defense that gave up 47 points to the Bears. But if they made a move, again, the Jets have been super active. Got a lot of teams that are trying to go for it, right? The Colts certainly doing that by what they did. Getting Sauce Gardner, going for it, pushing their chips in the middle, realizing I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be a good quarterback next year. I know he's a good quarterback this year. I know we've got a good team this year. Let's not let this go to waste. Let's try to build a contender, a team that can maybe compete for a championship this year. So I do think we're going to see a couple more blockbusters, and I think you're going to see teams like San Francisco buy. Denver's a team to probably not sleep on. Wouldn't be surprised if in the AFC, you got the Bills sniff around and they try to make some moves. Wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore tries to bolster itself in an area of weakness, despite their slow start to the year and dealing with Lamar being out. I do think you're going to see some activity here ahead. And really, for the first time, a trade deadline that matches some of the other sports deadlines, right? Baseball has a big deadline. Hockey at times has a big deadline. The NFL deadline living up to its namesake here in a good way for the first time in a long time.
Speaking of the deadline, it will turn out that the Jets will win the Sauce Gardner trade.
2 firsts and A.D. Mitchell for Sauce Gardner, who just got a 4-year, $120 million extension in the summertime. That extension doesn't kick in for another, I think, season or 2 seasons. He's got his 5th-year option next year, and I think the contract extension kicks in after that. So you got 5.5 years of control of Sauce Gardner. I mean, yeah, you got to hit on the 2 first-round picks, right? In theory, you get 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, a corner. Yeah, you're going to feel really good about it. And on top of it, you get a young player, a young receiver, who the only reason why he got moved is because he dropped the ball at the goal line and committed a holding penalty. So if you clean that up, you have a talented young receiver to pair with Garrett Wilson, and you're going to need all the ammo you can get over the next couple of years to either go get your quarterback, or when you get your quarterback, support that quarterback with extra weapons. So, or rebuilding this defense, finding the next Sauce Gardner. So in theory, they want it, but yeah, they have to make do with those 2 first-round picks. They'll have 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years, at least as of right now. Doesn't matter. I don't know what they're going to do with those picks moving forward. They may package those picks together to move up to get a quarterback if they need to move up. But yeah, on the surface, it does feel like they won the trade, but they have to turn those 2 picks into something for it to really be a home run.
If you also clean up some of those mistakes, maybe you have an 8-1 Colts team.
Well, you just love bringing up A.D. Mitchell's drop and the hold. And by the way, if you're looking at it from the Jets' perspective, you're getting a young receiver that Indy gave up on, that if you're able to clean up those mistakes, you have a legitimate
wide receiver 2 to pair with Garrett Wilson that you didn't have 24 hours ago. 12 hours ago. 5 hours ago, you didn't have a wide receiver 2 like that. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. When we come back, it was a great night for Marvin Harrison Jr. Is that enough of a reason to stick with Jacoby Brissett? We'll talk about it next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Did you know that breast cancer accounts for almost 25% of all new cancer cases in women? The good news is that if it's caught early, before it's spread, the 5-year survival rate is 99%. So make sure you see a medical professional for regular mammograms. They allow medical professionals to identify any issues, even before you feel any symptoms. This message is brought to you by Valleywise Health. You're more to us.
Bad Omens. Do you feel love? North American Tour 2026. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, March 24th. Bad Omens. With special guests, Beartooth and President. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bad Omens, live in Glendale.
Who is Farm Bureau Financial Services? At our core, we're relationship builders. We're home and auto bundlers, life insurers, farm and ranch protectors, and retirement planners. We're neighbors, community members, and friends. We're the people you can count on now and for years to come. Find a Farm Bureau agent at fbfs.com/protect. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and the resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
Sometimes a girl in my class doesn't bring anything to eat for lunch.
The truth is, in America, 1 in 5 kids worry about their next meal.
I want everybody to have yummy food.
So do we. That's why Fry's donates surplus fresh food from our shelves to your local food bank. We've provided over 3.5 billion meals through our Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan. Visit frysfood.com to see how you can help fight hunger and waste in our community.
Because nobody should have an empty tummy.
Does your student struggle in a traditional school setting? For nearly 25 years, Primavera Online has helped Arizona K-12 students thrive with an accredited tuition-free education from home. Learn more at chooseprimavera.com. That's chooseprimavera.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Welcome into hour number 2 here at the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Producer Evan's on the other side of the glass. He's taking your phone calls, 480-864-1060. We got a lot to get to this hour of the program. We got Overreaction Tuesday coming up. We'll give you the latest on the NFL trade deadline as well. More on the Suns. They're being thrown out there as a potential possibility for somebody that could be available on the NBA trade market, speaking of trade. So we'll get to that as well. But I do want to dive back into last night's Monday Night Football game for the Arizona Cardinals. And I want to talk about the evening that Marvin Harrison Jr. had. It was a total of 7 catches for 96 yards and the touchdown. And boy, was it a pretty touchdown. I mean, it was basically play action post. And he put Deron Bland in the blender. I mean, he broke his ankles and was wide open, and Brissett threw a dart, and it was a really nice catch. And Marv had a couple of nice catches. I forget when exactly in the game it was. I believe it was in the first half. But he Brissett really did a nice job climbing the pocket, and he found Marv on a comeback route and threw it before Marv had even turned back for the ball. Just really good anticipation. Marv did a nice job after the catch as well in the game. Just a really nice performance. And for a guy that has, producer Evan, one game with 100-plus yards in his NFL career, got very close last night with 96, certainly was on pace in the first half, and that is a criticism, I think, of the offense and Drew Petzing in the second half. That kind of went away from Marv and had a really nice night in the first half and just kind of didn't get him as involved in the second half and didn't get him over 100 yards, and it felt like they got away from him in that game. But it clearly looked like a different receiver last night. And off of the heels of his dad giving those comments to ESPN about watching the Cardinals offense, it's a struggle for him, and that if he played in Arizona, he wouldn't have that Hall of Fame career, and all those comments that he had pre-game about the Cardinals offense, it felt like you were waiting for disaster to strike. You were waiting for the Cardinals to lose that game, Marv to have another bad game, Jonathan Gannon to get asked about it either after the game last night or in the media throughout the week, and things going from bad to worse. You didn't have that. You had a great night from Marv. And I was kind of hoping he got to 100 yards because it would make this narrative stronger, that it took him how many games to get 100 yards with Kyler Murray as quarterback, and how many 100-yard games did he have with Kyler Murray as his quarterback? If he would have gotten to 100 last night, it would have taken 3 with Jacoby Brissett for him to get to that mark. And I wish he would have gotten there because it would make the point stronger of how do you not stick with Jacoby Brissett, if only for the development of Marvin Harrison Jr. Do you happen to have his game logs up there, producer Evan?
I do. So Marv had 200-yard games last year. He had the 130 in the big game against the Rams in week 2, if you remember that one. And then he had 111 on 6 grabs at Miami in week 8. This year, no 100-yard games. He has the 98-yard game against Tennessee in the loss, and last night had 96 yards. So it was the second best game of the year for Marvin Harrison Jr.
You can go ahead and hit the button. You can go ahead and hit the button because I got something. Cowboys making a trade. Sending a first-round pick to the New York Jets for Quinnen Williams. Jets loading up on first-round picks. Loading up on them.
Do you think this is the one he was too afraid to announce yesterday?
Certainly probably was the one he was too afraid to announce. Trying to make sure that they get over the finish line. It's a big name to throw out there. And he's a really good player. I mean, Quinnen Williams is one of the best young players at that position in the sport. So blockbusters. I mean, you said, would there be another blockbuster? This counts. I mean, this is one of the best interior defensive tackles in the sport, not just because he plays for my favorite football team. It's one of the best players at this position, any metric you look at. And he got traded for a first-round pick.
Big question for the Jets. Is that the Packers pick or is that the Cowboys? Cowboys going to be picking a lot earlier in the draft.
What a great observation from you. They have, the 2 firsts this year, the Packers selection and the Cowboys selection. If I'm the Jets, I'm asking for the Cowboys pick. Right now, that's the pick that looks to be further up the draft board and puts me in a better spot to where if I need to move up in the draft, I now have extra capital to do it with. So if I'm Darren Muji, the GM of the Jets, that's the one I'm asking for. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm probably trying to get them to take the Packers pick. So it'll be an interesting thing to see which pick it was. And we'll keep everybody updated on that. But okay, we got our first blockbuster during the show, and it's the Jets doing it once again. And like I said, I do think we're in for a bunch of moves. But back to Marv for a second. Jacoby Brissett, you had the game logs up, you said? I was totally distracted by the news that came across. I don't remember what you said. You had the game logs up, yes?
Yes. So
the 3 games with Jacoby Brissett.
In his 3 games with Jacoby Brissett, he hit the 96 yards last night. Then he had the 58 against Green Bay. He had 32 against Indy. But if you remember, he left that game in the first quarter, but was targeted twice, had 2 grabs. Looked really good in the game against Indy. But this year does not have a 100-yard receiving game. He had 98 against Tennessee. Last year he had the 2 at Miami, and then that week 2 game where he exploded against the Rams for 130. So he technically had 100 yards in his week 2 game with Kyler. But other than that, none this year. He has the 96 last night.
So 98 against Tennessee, 96 last night against the Cowboys. So didn't get to 100 in either of those games, but got close. Has the 100-yard game with Kyler. He's looked like a different receiver the last 3 weeks. And by the way, you said 32 when he left in the first quarter of the game in between. That's on pace for 120 yards, by the way. Not to say that he would get there, but that's the pace he was running if I'm working off of the 32 number that you gave me. So a completely different receiver. This is a guy you invested the number 4 overall pick in because he thought he was a game changer. You thought he was Jamar Chase. You thought he was Justin Jefferson. You thought he was Puka Nacua. You thought he was an elite receiver, right? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, just name a top receiver in the sport. You thought he was that level of player. You're seeing it the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, it's with another quarterback. It's not with the guy that you owe $160 million after this season. And just from that perspective alone, I think you need to keep Jacoby Brissett under center because he's giving you the best look on your offense. Has Michael Wilson looked better than he's looked with Jacoby Brissett under center?
That was the best game I've seen from Michael Wilson probably in 2 years last night.
Has Trey McBride looked better than he's looked the last couple of weeks with Jacoby Brissett?
Yes. How about that route he ran for a touchdown? And the ball, I mean, it's out quick. Jacoby hits his back foot, lets it fly, knowing I have the matchup, throws it towards the pylon. McBride goes and gets it. That is what this offense has been missing for months.
No offense, but it's a career backup doing that. It's a guy who's on his what? 6th team? 7th team? I've lost track. Started in New England, was in Cleveland, was in Miami. Now it's with Arizona. That's 4. I'm probably missing a team or 2 in there. And this is a guy who's a journeyman backup quarterback. And in phases has looked solid. And he's really good at running an offense, not turning the ball over, keeping an offense on schedule. That's exactly what this Cardinals offense was missing. And he's providing it. How do you not stick with him? Because Trey McBride is better. Marvin Harrison Jr. is better. Michael Wilson is better, to the point where you may not need to make a trade for a wide receiver too. Michael Wilson might actually be talented enough. It's the quarterback who's the problem. And that's how different this team has looked for 3 weeks. And just from Marv's development alone, this is a very important year for Marvin Harrison Jr. And if he can finish these final 9 games looking like the guy we saw last night, the guy we saw a couple of weeks ago against Tennessee, putting up those types of numbers, now you enter the JSN, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, that top tier of receiver caliber. If those are the numbers you're putting out there on a weekly basis, guess what? He wasn't doing it under Kyler. He's doing it under Jacoby Brissett. It's an indictment on Kyler. It's an indictment on this offense. But more importantly, it's another signal. How can you go back to Kyler Murray after what you've seen over the last couple of weeks? Now you got the result. Last night was the thing that I think was stopping the Cardinals from actually having to have this conversation was the win, and you got the win last night. You got the victory. He's now 1-2 as the quarterback of this team. If he was 0-3, I think it's easy to go back to Kyler because you can say the results haven't changed. He's our backup. He kept us in games, but this is why we brought him here, to be the emergency option. If Kyler got hurt, Kyler's back, we're going to roll him in there. You now won a game last night. You're 3-5. You're on the fringes of the playoff spot, and you have a quarterback who in these 3 games, your offense has looked incredibly different. You were 3 for 4 in the red zone last night. The red zone efficiency has been better. You scored 27 points last night. You're scoring basically a touchdown more with Jacoby Brissett. You're getting down to the red zone and being more efficient down there. What am I missing? What is the reason? Somebody give me a good reason, any reason, to stick with Kyler Murray as the quarterback. Somebody give me a reason.
Other than trade value, I can't think of one.
There is one reason that I think could be at play here. Could the owner say, we're paying this guy a lot of money, I want him to play? That's fine. That can be the reason. But as a coach, you have to understand, and you have to tell that owner, and puff your chest out a little bit, and maybe put yourself on the line a little bit and say, if I do this, I'm going to lose this locker room. And if I lose this locker room, I am not going to have a job next year. I'm not going to get year 4. I'm not going to get the keys to this franchise. I'm not going to get a chance to get my guy in here at the quarterback position. And here's the other thing, Evan. If Jonathan Gannon sticks by Kyler Murray, if he goes back to Kyler Murray this week at quarterback, it's now on him. He now doesn't get to use the excuse in my mind. In my mind, you lose the excuse of this isn't our guy, this isn't our quarterback, and throwing Kyler Murray under the bus because you now are given an out. This entire fan base, the locker room, the organization, would be fine with Jacoby Brissett being the starting quarterback the rest of the way. Look at the way the offense has functioned the last 3 weeks. Look at the way they played last night. You've got 9 games to go to save your season, to save your job. You have to go with the quarterback that gives you the best chance. That is Jacoby Brissett. If you choose to go back to Kyler Murray, it's now on you. You now wear it. You now don't get to, at the end of the year, throw Kyler under the bus and say, well, we didn't give him the contract extension. We didn't pick this guy. We didn't draft this guy. No. In this moment, making this decision now puts you at the center of responsibility for what happens the rest of the way, and it will cost you your job. I know I take the excuse off the table. If they go to Jacoby Brissett right now and they get to 6 wins and it's 6-11 and everyone's really disappointed, but they made the correct move at the time to go to Jacoby Brissett, and they get to the end of the year and their justification for keeping these guys is, we got to get our guy in here. Okay, I will give you that because you made the right move in this moment. But if you don't get that excuse because now it's on you. You had a choice and you chose wrong. And as a coach, I'm evaluating your choices, your decision-making process, and it would have been bad. All the signs are there. So to me, this is a huge moment for Jonathan Gannon in his future, because if he chooses to go back to Kyler Murray, he wears all of this, all of it. Whatever happens the remaining 9 games, he wears. He no longer gets the cop-out, the excuse of, we didn't sign him to the extension, we didn't draft him, he's not our quarterback. Because this is a moment where you are saying, we would have given him the extension. We would have drafted this kid. You are signing him to be your guy. Because this is it. This is the exit ramp. Coaches, organizations, GMs, they don't get this exit ramp very often. You've been given the exit ramp with what happened last night. You have a wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr., who is playing the best ball of his career the last couple of weeks. Had a great game last night. Trey McBride playing out of his mind. This offense about to get Trey Benson back here maybe in the next couple of weeks. A defense that's playing really well. Just got a reinforcement in Walter Nolan. Playing great. You can't go back to Kyler Murray. You can't do it. Now, again, I will repeat what I said at the top of the show. I'm not holding Jonathan Gannon exactly to what he said last night, because I do think he probably had that answer prepared before the game. It's right after the game. It's the emotions. It's the adrenaline of the game. I'm not going to hold him to the immediate aftermath of a game. I am going to hold him to what he says throughout the course of this week. I am going to hold him to what he says to the media, given time to look back at the film, given time to actually process what he saw from Jacoby Brissett and realize this is the guy that makes my offense better. No, I don't know if it's going to lead to a playoff berth, but you have to do right by your team. And right now, Jacoby Brissett is the right answer at quarterback. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to keep an eye, for you to join us here today on the program. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. We are paying very close attention, keeping an eye on everything that's going on in the NFL world. How about this, producer Evan? I know we're supposed to do Overreaction Tuesday, but since this is our first show of the week, how about we kick Overreaction Tuesday to an Overreaction Wednesday? And when we come back, we get into all the news in the NFL with the trade deadline. Is that good with you? Yeah, I got a thumbs up back there. That's what we'll do when we come back. The latest around the world of football, the trade deadline heating up, the Jets make another move. There's a lot of things happening. What could happen before we get to 2 p.m. today? We will get to it all here next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters, and we kept signing people to contracts, and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract. Play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Head coach Brian Wright and the Lumberjacks are setting a new standard in Flagstaff.
Happy with our attitude, our effort, how we've come together as a football team.
Join us Saturday. NAU hosts the Northern Colorado Bears. Our coverage begins at 2 on your home for Lumberjack football.
Skips his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Lumberjacks.
The NAU Lumberjack Sports Network from Learfield.
Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Friday, March 6th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails. Live in Glendale. Peel It Back Tour 2026.
Doesn't it make you feel better?
Every day begins with the promise of something new, a new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with a patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner day. Banner Health.
This winter, step into a world of wonder at the Tianyu Lights Festival, open from October 24th through January 4th at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, and Phoenix. Explore the 4 new themes: Bugs Aglow, Colors of Holidays, Rainforest, and Prehistoric Animals, which feature 70 glowing handcrafted lanterns. Enjoy delicious foods and beverages at our food court, explore the interactive lanterns, and complete your visit with a trip to the marketplace where you'll find unique souvenirs. Don't miss this unforgettable holiday experience. Tickets are available now.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Cowboys may not be among the NFL's elite, but after the loss to the Cardinals last night, it might be time to shift the conversation and focus on Kyler Murray, if you're the Cardinals. 7 years into his NFL career, and what do the Cardinals have to show for it? 1 winning season, no playoff wins, a 38-48 record with Murray as the starter. 2 head coaches, an offense that frankly has looked sharper at times without him. And let's not forget a video game clause once baked into his contract to make sure he studied. That's not the resume of a franchise quarterback. That's the resume of a player who has kept a franchise stuck in neutral. Not bad enough to start over, but not good enough to move on and truly contend. The Cardinals have talent, energy, and some promising young building blocks. But if the goal is long-term success, maybe it's time to stop trying to make the Kyler Murray era work and start thinking about what comes next in the desert, and maybe focusing on Jacoby Brissett for now. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. It's being called the Golden Bonanza Sweepstakes. Thanks to our friends at Mako, the DP Show, proud to be a part of this, giving listeners a chance to join us in San Francisco for Super Week. That's right, a trip for 2, including round-trip coach airfare, 3 nights, hotel stay, ground transportation, and VIP access to see us do our show. If that's not enough, Mako also giving away 5 free paint jobs and 10 Mako and DP Show swag bags as runner-up prizes. It's really simple to enter. You go to danpatrick.com. The best news, you can enter daily for a chance to win. You can also receive a 25% off coupon to use at any Mako shop. Visit any Mako location now for a free estimate and redeem the coupon. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, go to danpatrick.com for official rules. No purchase necessary. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Open to contiguous U.S. D.C. residents 18 or over. Ends 11/23/25.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KTUS AM 1060. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the show. It's NFL trade deadline day. Apparently the New York Jets are the only team that's gotten the memo here so far. They've been the team at the center of all the activity, making 2 blockbuster moves. First, it was Sauce Gardner being sent to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks and receiver A.D. Mitchell. And then just happened in the last segment, they traded Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and Mozzie Smith. So they replaced Quinnen Williams along the interior with Mozzie Smith, a lesser player, but they do fill that void that is left with a young player. They get a 2027 first-round pick. That is the Cowboys' pick in 2027. Remember, the Cowboys have their pick and the Packers' picks each of the next 2 seasons. And then they get a 2026 second-round pick. So as things stand right now, the Jets have 2 first-round picks in 2026. They have 2 second-round picks in 2026. And they have 3 first-round picks in 2027. 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. This year, And again, all eyes are on what the Jets do at the quarterback position, and they are loading up to be able to find that guy. And so now they have to make it worth it by finding that guy, drafting that guy, developing that guy, and then also getting the supporting cast around that player while creating holes at corner and while creating holes at defensive line. That's what we've got so far. Producer Evan, anything else that you are seeing right now in the trade market? I have not seen anything other than this at the moment.
No, nothing over the top new that I've seen. My only question is, in all honesty, if you're the Cowboys fans, and I know you got Quinn Williams, let's look back. Who would you rather have, right? Because for Parsons, you gave up you got 2 firsts and Kenny Clark. For Quinn Williams, you just gave up one of those firsts and your second, which, let's face it, what are you going to pick? 37? Like, probably 42. They're probably going to be a top 10 pick. That's almost the first. You got Kenny Clark. They're getting all this credit for picking up draft capital. It almost feels like a swap for Quinn Williams. Maybe you got a little bit more, but not much.
Right now, Dallas' second-round pick is slated to be pick number 46. So that's where it stands right now. So it's a top 50 pick. And organizations, franchises, covet top 50 selections. I know the casual NFL draft fan, the casual football fan really kind of prioritizes the first round. But organizations understand there is a lot of value in the top 50. There's a lot of value in the top 75, top 100. Picking in day 1 and day 2, that's where you want to have the most selections. That's where you can really do damage and get some really impactful players. And so teams like loading up in that regard, and that's what the Jets certainly have done with what they did today. So far, they have, going into today, this is before any of these moves were made, they had pick 3, pick 35, and pick 103. Inside the top 100, give or take. We know they added a first in the Sauce Gardner trade this year, so they'll have another top 50 pick. And then they added a first-round pick in the Quinn Williams trade. That's next year. That's in 2027. They also added a second. So they're going to have now 4 picks inside the top 50 after what they've done today. And who knows what else they could have up their sleeve between now and the end of the afternoon. But that is where things are at right now. And apparently the Jets aren't done. Apparently there's another trade coming.
Yeah, I saw Breece Hall's tweet.
So that could be another move. Again, everybody else could contribute. The Jets don't have to do everything. And you have seen the off mic version of me here today, where I'm processing this in real time as somebody who is a Jets fan. And we're just talking the NFL trade deadline. The Jets just happen to be the only team doing anything right now. I don't know how to feel about this right now. I really don't. 2 of their best players gone out the door. Don't know what it means for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you love the value you got.
Yeah.
It just means you're I thought where you thought you stood before, that's to be determined, but you're going into a full rebuild now.
You are going into a full rebuild. That's where things are at. Other teams, other players that you're keeping an eye on here as we are an hour and a half away from the deadline. Deadline's at 2:00 today.
Yeah, I expect the Saints probably aren't done. I wouldn't be surprised if they move Olave. I know Miami moved Jalen Phillips already. I wouldn't be surprised to see them move Bradley Chubb as a player to be moved. Cleveland, I think, could still get in the mix and move somebody. I certainly don't think it'll be Myles Garrett. I think that's done and over with and off the table. I could see them getting involved and maybe try to move somebody. I don't know. I think the Cardinals could make a move. There's going to be some teams that I think it'll be interesting. Trey Hendrickson, that's a real name after their loss this week. Could he get moved? They've already moved the linebacker. Could they move Trey Hendrickson as well? So those are some guys that I'm probably looking out for in the next few hours.
Raheed Shaheed also got traded. He got sent to Seattle. I think it was a 4th and a 6th, the compensation there for Shaheed. So the Seahawks certainly going for it, trying to surround Sam Darnold with weapons and talent and depth, because they've got a team worth investing in right now with the way that they've played this year. A big win on Sunday against Washington. They can win that division. They could potentially be the top seed in the NFC and have home field advantage. That's how good they're playing right now. That's how good of a team they've been.
And looking on the AFC side, if you're Buffalo, right, you look around and think this is the year. This is the year the conference is wide open and ours for the grab, ours for the taking. Go out and grab a receiver, grab some pieces you need. I haven't seen them make a move yet, so I'd be surprised if they don't do anything today.
Does Denver do something, right? They're playing some good ball. Maybe want to get some help for Bo Nix. Maybe want to shore up some deficiencies there. They're a team that's playing well. When I look at trade deadlines, you look at teams that shore up like glaring holes or teams that just capitalize on a situation to get better with a player that's out there. And I do think there's always a chance for a team to do moves more for, and it's kind of what the Jets are doing, but not entirely, where teams start planning for the future now, where they get some good value and they're able to start their work. Like you could see a team today, and it hasn't happened yet, but you could see a team today. And maybe in some ways the Jets did it by getting back players in both of their trades. Like Mozzie Smith and A.D. Mitchell are players for the future for the Jets. Like they sold some players, but they also kind of bought some young players to try to build around for the future and evaluate here over these last couple of weeks of the season. So you may see some teams that are, I think the Giants should be all over getting help for Jackson Dart. No Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbu hurt, like get him some help so you can actually know what you have in him by the end of the season. So they're out of it. They're not competing for anything, but they should be buyers. They should try to take advantage of, I think, the Chris Olave market in particular.
Yeah, like the NFL trade deadline and the MLB trade deadline are different because it's not as simple, right? It's not. And for the Giants, you and I have been saying that they, yes, aren't going to make the playoffs, aren't going to compete this year. The most important thing in that building is the development of your young quarterback. And if you can get a receiver with some years of control, a guy like Olave has the 5th-year option next year. So you would have the 2 years that's already been picked up. I don't know why you wouldn't go out and add a receiver that I think could help the development of a young quarterback who I think is taking, the bull by the horns to this point.
You just have to know. You have to have conviction at the end of the year that you made the right pick. And it's hard to do that when he's playing with a diminished cast of characters. And that's no offense to the room that they have there in New York, but they've had 2 major injuries to 2 players that would absolutely make their offense better. I mean, Cam Scatterbu was electric for them. Malik Neighbors is a really good young receiver. And now you can't see the chemistry with Jackson Dart with those guys. And the last thing you want to do is stunt his development because he doesn't have anybody to work with. So they're a team to keep an eye on. I mean, really, if the Cowboys are buying it at their record, anything's on the table. Anybody could be a buyer if the Cowboys are a buyer.
I couldn't believe they went out and made that deal. And I know that he has years of control. What? To give up that kind of draft capital? They have a lot of holes defensively.
They do. They have a lot of holes defensively. They tried to help their run game by flipping Parsons for some picks and Kenny Clark. And now they're trying to also beef up that interior of their defensive line by getting Quinnen Williams. And they're using some of the capital that they got in the Micah Parsons trade to do so. But, I mean, defensively, they've just been bad all season long. And last night, their offense was kind of sluggish. They turned the ball over too much. They had 3 turnovers in that game. Javonte Williams fumbled the ball. Dak got crushed as he threw the one pick that he had early on in that game. Cardinals also dropped an interception that they could have had. I mean, they could have
should have had 2.
Yeah, they could have had 5 turnovers by the time that game was all said and done. So interesting to see them buying, but it is Dallas. It is Jerry. You know, he likes to keep his name in the news, and they've been active here today as well. You want to join us here today on the program? 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to do so. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. We'll keep an eye on the NFL trade deadline. Producer Evan will break in with the sounder if anything happens between now and the time that we get off the air at the top of the hour. But when we come back, he still has yet to play a game for the Phoenix Suns, yet his name is out there as a trade candidate. That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
This is what I mean when I say that was a collapse for the ages. An all-time Tank job. Not only did the Giants lead 19-0 going into the fourth quarter, they scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they still lost. The Giants were 99.8% to win that game, according to ESPN, but according to the Broncos, the number was actually 0.0%.
Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, EMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Every day, reliable, comfortable, connected. Every day you rely on power. At APS, we work around the clock to deliver some of the most reliable power in the country. But with Arizona's extreme weather, outages can happen. Stay safe and informed with alerts by keeping your contact information up to date. And visit our outage center for updates online or on the APS app. For more ways to stay safe and informed, visit aps.com/brighter.
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket.
Ready to rock, guys?
You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite, too. Extra value meals are back.
Get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles extra value meal with hash browns and a small premium roast coffee for $5 at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
Start saving early and get ready for the year's biggest deals at the Living Spaces Black Friday event. Discover stylish, modern sofas starting at just $295. Elevate your gatherings with dining sets from $295. Upgrade your bedroom with queen beds starting at $195. And sink into relaxation with ultra comfy recliners at prices you won't believe. Plus, pay no interest for 24 months on select purchases with your good credit. Get it all before Thanksgiving with free shipping as soon as next day. Only at the Living Spaces Black Friday event.
Living Spaces.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Oklahoma City taking out everybody on their way to a championship. One of the youngest, I think the average 26 years old,
Yeah.
Rich. As long as they have the Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan team, or at least one person on that team, hopefully it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They have a chance. And listen, it's human nature to be the best and think, I'll be the best again. And then you fall short. I'm going to say Oklahoma City will not go back-to-back.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan is behind the glass. The Suns back in action. Oh, before that, congratulations to ASU women's basketball. Molly Miller picked up their first win of the season last night in their season opener. They're 1-0. We've got a very busy week here on both KDUS AM 1060 and over on 1440, which is where sometimes our live sports air. We've got another ASU women's basketball game over the weekend. We've got NAU football on Saturday, NAU men's basketball Friday night. We've got a Phoenix Rising playoff game. They pulled off an upset on Saturday on the road in El Paso, winning 1-0 there. They play Tulsa, the number 1 seed in the Western Conference on Saturday. So a lot going on. We got Raiders football on Thursday. Got a lot of live sports here on KDUS AM 1060. We'll remind you throughout the week where you can listen to these things because we'll be using 1440 as well. The Suns back in action tonight. They take on the Golden State Warriors on the road in Golden State. And interestingly enough, if you've been paying attention to the world of the NBA, you know that there is a developing situation in Memphis with their star player in Ja Morant and his future very much up in the air. He was suspended, one game for conduct detrimental to the team, I believe is the way it was phrased. And it is just a situation that is turning sour and is turning toxic. And it does feel like there's going to need to be a parting of ways here at some point between the two sides. And that's lent everybody to throw out their ideas, throw out their trade proposals. And I saw a story on Bleacher Report yesterday that threw out a couple of different trade ideas for Ja Morant, and the Phoenix Suns were listed as one of the 5 teams. Now, producer Evan, I know you have the article up in front of you. Can you read to the audience the trade package that was suggested for the Phoenix Suns to acquire Ja Morant in a trade?
The Grizzlies receive Jalen Green, a 2027 first-round pick, and $5.9 million in trade exception. The Suns get Ja Morant.
Jalen Green, 2027 first, and a trade exemption, all for Ja Morant. Now, when I first saw that, there was a chuckle that came over me that the Suns in this example are trading a player that has yet to suit up for them, has yet to play a game for them, and he's already being sent out the door. By the way, based on when he was traded, I don't know if he's able to be moved. The NBA has very specific rules on how long you have to wait before trading a player that you've acquired via a trade. I believe it's like a December 15th date when you're able to do that. So this would have to be a later on type move. But I did chuckle at the idea of trading a player and having him be the centerpiece of a trade when he hasn't played for you at all. But I just want to put that to the side for a moment and just evaluate, do the Suns even want Ja Morant? Should the Suns even want Ja Morant? And we were talking about this in between the segments, and I just don't think if I'm the Phoenix Suns, if I'm Brian Gregory, if I'm Jordan Ott, trading for Ja Morant is a risk I'm willing to take. Clearly, things have gotten so bad there in Memphis, and I don't know who's in the right. I don't know who's in the wrong. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors there. I just know what my eyes are able to tell me, and what my eyes are able to tell me is it's a situation that has gone south. It is a situation that has turned sour. And we know that Ja Morant has been suspended by the league. He's been suspended by the team. He's had off-the-court issues. It has not been all sunshine and rainbows for Ja Morant, a very special player. It has not been all sunshine and rainbows for him in Memphis. So do you, as Brian Gregory and Jordan Ott, because talent-wise, Ja Morant is a superstar. Talent-wise, a great player to have on your team. But if I'm Brian Gregory, if I'm Jordan Ott, I'm at the beginning of something. I'm trying to build a brand new culture. I'm trying to build a winning mentality. I'm trying to build a team first. I'm trying to build a cohesion. I'm trying to build a united front. I'm trying to build something here from the get-go. This entire season is about laying the foundation, the base layers to this team. Do I want to bring somebody in like Ja Morant, who does have a history of things going south? The reason why Memphis would be trading him is not because he's not a talented player, but because they are butting heads and they need to move on. Is that the type of player you want to bring in? And I do think it's a fair, legitimate question to ask. Do you want to? Now, maybe he gets traded and everything's in the past and he gets a fresh start and he doesn't have any issues. That's certainly possible. But do I want to take the risk? At this stage of what I'm trying to build, the early stages, I don't even think we've built the layers of the foundation yet. We don't have the foundation of the house built yet. We've got a couple bricks down. We don't have the whole foundation. Do I want to potentially bring somebody in that could dismantle that foundation? The answer to me is no. As talented as he is, it's just not a risk I think I'm willing to take.
Ja Morant doesn't get you over the hump of being they may still not be a playoff team with Ja Morant. And if that's the case, I'm not willing, and I don't think it's a good idea to risk the culture you are trying to implement in this city, in this organization, for a guy where there's been questions about the type of culture that has been built around him in Memphis. his whole career. Like it feels like it's, yes, you're adding talent, but 2 steps backwards from where you said you want to be.
John Morant has been suspended by the league, right? Was suspended 25 games by the league. He had that Instagram live thing where a gun was flashed and it caused a whole firestorm. He had to meet with Adam Silver and he had to go to a counseling program. He originally got suspended 8 games without pay. And then after the first suspension, he was suspended from all team activities by the Grizzlies by doing it again. And then the league jumped in. He was suspended for 25 games. Then he came back. And then I forgot about this. April 1st of last year, him and Buddy Hield flashed gun gestures at each other on the court. That wasn't great. He did it again, got fined. So it's been an issue.
Didn't he throw a grenade into the stands? Like not an actual grenade, but like, wasn't that one of his celebrations too?
I believe that was, I don't remember, but I after reading, because I have his Wikipedia page up, after reading the Buddy Hield, I forgot that had happened. So he's had a history of off the court stuff where it doesn't feel like you're seeing a player that has learned from it, right? Because one of these instances was earlier this year. It's November 2025. One of these issues happened in April when the initial incident happened in 2023. To me, a very talented player. A player who last year averaged 23 points per game, shot really well from the field, 45%, not his career high, but shot well, did really well from the free throw line. His best number there, had his best defensive year in steals per game, had a bunch of assists, 7.3. Good player. Good player. Didn't play well in the postseason, but a player that is immensely talented, but just not a player I think is worth risking. And again, you're trading a player in Jalen Green who you have yet to see play for you. Just not a risk I'm willing to take. So a trade package that I guess makes sense, but I don't think the Suns are going to be willing to do that. They're going to slow burn this thing. It's slow cook. They are not looking for the instant answer. I do think they would evaluate trades for players of this caliber down the road, but right now it is evaluation. It is looking at these young players, seeing what they have, seeing what they don't have, laying the foundation.
Doesn't feel like that would be the last move, the finishing move to get you over the hump. It isn't the time to make that trade. Whereas if I felt like I had some of the young talent and wanted one more piece, maybe I go get John Morant, and maybe that conversation's in 3 years. I just don't see it in the here, in the now.
No, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've got one more before we hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. We have all of the stories we didn't get to, and I'm sure there's a lot today. We've been focusing very much on the Cardinals' win last night on Monday Night Football, the NFL trade deadline, the Suns having a great weekend. They're back in action again tonight. So all the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the show, producer Evan will have them for us on the other side. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Shohei Ohtani had 2 home runs, 2 doubles. They also walked him 5 times, 4 intentionally. They've gotten to the point where he's getting Bonds treatment. I want you to pitch in shame. If you're going to intentionally walk him, I want you to throw the 4 pitches that look silly because you don't want to face him. I don't want it to be, hey, we're going to walk him and I point him to first base. Nope. I want you to acknowledge that you can't get him out and you throw those 4 pitches.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy-winning comedian John Mulaney announces his new tour, Mr. Whatever. Celebrity Theater, Friday, March 6th. Tickets on sale now at etix.com.
'Tis scratches season, and all through the state, the Arizona Lottery is giving people something to celebrate. Grab your friends and gather round for the chance to win $250,000 with cash countdown. Peppermint scented candy cane cash is available at any Arizona Lottery retailer in a flash. Gift these and 4 more games for any reason, because there are more than $80 million in prizes this season. This year and all, we wish you a happy holiday. From Arizona Lottery, love the play.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
Does your student struggle in a traditional school setting? For nearly 25 years, Primavera Online has helped Arizona K-12 students thrive with an accredited tuition-free education from home. Learn more at chooseprimavera.com. That's chooseprimavera.com.
Join ASU women's basketball this Saturday on KDUS AM 1060. The Lady Sun Devils are ready to attack the courts and give it their all against Eastern Washington. Jeff Munn will have the call live from Desert Financial Arena this Saturday afternoon. It's ASU versus the Eagles of Eastern Washington. Pre-game coverage starts at 1:30 p.m. and tip-off at 2 right here on KDUS AM 1060, online at KDUS1060.com, and streamed on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break. One more before we hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the program. We'll have reaction to the Suns against Golden State. If the Cardinals do anything between now and the 2 p.m. deadline or whatever else may happen in the world of football. Plus, we are going to keep an eye on a story that I think is only going to grow as this week moves on. Who is going to play quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals this upcoming Sunday? I don't think this is a story that goes away. So we'll have all that for you starting tomorrow. Right now, we have all of the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Producer Evan has them for us. What is on the docket today?
Well, you weren't here yesterday. I figured we would do some reaction to the World Series yesterday. So wanted your reaction. Dodgers took down the Jays in 7 in what ended up being an all-time series.
A classic Game 7, a classic series. The Blue Jays had the Dodgers down to their final 2 outs. They had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th, couldn't get it done. Gave up the homer in the 11th, and the Dodgers are back-to-back world champions. And Yamamoto, after pitching the night before, comes in and gives the Dodgers multiple innings of relief and puts on an MVP-type performance.
I am at the point where I just think that is the closest I've ever seen a team come to winning the World Series. The Dodgers, and credit to Dave Roberts, because there has been some series in the past where I think teams or fans and other people have credited Dave Roberts with making mistakes. He made every right decision. I mean, everything he touched turned to gold. Through the last couple of games of that series, he was perfect. He was perfect.
Yeah, and they're not going anywhere. This Dodgers team's not going anywhere.
Well, in 2 years they are home when there's no season. But other than that, they're not going anywhere.
Other than that, they're going to be in the mix here. 3 titles in 6 years. They've been in the NLDS. I believe it's like 13 straight seasons or 14 straight. I mean, they've just been excellent, and they're already a dynasty. But it could 3 in a row is absolutely on the table with the talent pipeline that they have. I have a story for you, if you don't mind.
Is it the Tom Brady story?
No, it's a golf story.
Golf story.
Liv is switching to 72 holes instead of 54, changing their format up for 2026.
How are they going to keep the name?
So it's funny that you say that. I don't know if there are people out there that know that that's what Liv originally stood for, that the Liv was 54 for 54 holes. Do you think everybody knew that? I don't think everybody knew that.
Probably not.
72-hole format for all events, effective immediately. They're going to keep the shotgun starts. They're going to keep the team scoring, but they are going to move to a 72-hole, 4-day tournament structure for all the events starting in 2026. Lean more into team golf.
I don't even know how to watch it. I think it's on the CW, correct? On the CW. But no, I can't believe that was the big takeaway is that they play 54 holes. Now they don't play 54 holes. I'm a little struck by this. I'm a little shocked.
I'm going to make a reference that you and I and maybe some people out there in golf world will understand. There's this thing on YouTube right now, the Internet Invitational that's going on, and Barstool is a part of it. Liv needs to lean more into that type of golf content. They need to lean more into week to week. Teams are drafted. It's high stakes. It's match play. You've got the drama. You've got the excitement. If Liv chose to lean into that style, that format, I think they would have a real competition on their hands with the PGA.
I agree. I think that'd be great. And for those who, by the way, the Internet Invitational has been awesome. For those who haven't watched it, I'll give you a little. So they're on day 2 or round 2, essentially. There's 3 total rounds. And it's match play. So one of these teams is up 4-2 on the other. And the last match, one of the teams won. And we're given the choice to replay the 18th hole for a chance to win what? $100,000?
Yeah.
And if they lose, though, they lose the point for their team. If you're in the final 3, by the way, and those teams get cut down and redrafted, you win the $1 million. You're playing for $100,000. I'm reteeing it. Go back to the 18th. Let's do it again.
If Barstool can have a prize pool that big and offer those types of opportunities, Liv, who has a TV deal and has sponsorships and has brought in a lot of money and pays big contracts for the biggest stars in golf, why can't they do something similarly?
It could be a $10 million prize pool.
And if you did that and you had the format where you televise the draft and you televise the releasing of the matchups, just like you do for the Ryder Cup, I think it could be something special for the world of golf. Sorry, that was my story. What else do you have?
Have you seen the Tom Brady story on Bleacher Report today?
Something about him cloning his dog is what I saw on social media. No, I have not seen anything other than that. I don't want to know. I legitimately do not want to know.
You don't want to hear the story?
You're going to tell me, but go ahead.
Tom Brady revealed that his current dog, Junie, is a clone of his late dog, Lua, who died in December 2023. The dogs were cloned by Colossal Biosciences, a biotech company that Brady is an investor in, using blood collected prior to Lua's death.
We're doomed as a society. We're doomed. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. I'm out on this. I'm out. I'm an owner of 2 dogs. When it's their time, it's their time.
I, by the way, did check this story 2 or 3 times
just to make sure
it was real.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm out.
You're not getting your dog cloned?
No. When it's their time, it's their time. I don't need to do this and then to be reminded of the dog that I don't have, that I lost. I don't need that reminder.
Yeah, that'd be honestly, that'd be really sad. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it.
It's not really your dog, but it is your dog, right? You see where I'm good. I'm good.
ASU basketball starts tonight.
It's a great night for U of A basketball. Koa Pete looked really good last night.
Yeah, it dropped 30. I mean, they were really good last night. Really, really good.
We have a couple of U of A alum in the building that I have a regular meeting with on Monday. And I was trolling them a little bit. Not really. I was legitimately asking, but I was like, what's it like to have these good players and to win in the regular season, but know that it's not going to mean anything when you get to March, because it seemingly always goes sideways on them in March.
If they lose in the first 2 rounds again, you got to move on from the coach.
We've been saying that for a while now. Right? They were saying that with Sean Miller. Now they're saying it with Tommy Lloyd. I mean, they've been doing it. It doesn't matter who the coach is. They have the same problem. Same problem for a decade plus now.
Yeah, it's a long time.
For ASU, this is a big year too. Bobby Hurley's got a lot of pressure on him to win this year.
You have to win. You have to win. You have to change the culture. I'm going tonight. I'll be in the building for the home opener.
Wow, you're going to be in the building. Okay.
I had to see DFA one more time pre all the renovations.
Those renovations starting up, I believe, next year.
Yeah, end of this season.
Yeah, next summer they'll be starting. It's like a multi-year process for renovations for the building.
Needs it.
It does. It does need some upgrades there. Anything else you have before we get out of here? We've got time for one more.
I'm all
story.
good.
You're done. You're
Those are
out.
all my stories.
That's it. All the leftovers. We got the leftovers in with a minute to spare. That's rare for us.
Yeah, typically we're cutting off a story or going right up to the end. The other one I had here, it's not really a story, but how good is Jackson Smith in Jigba?
Yeah, you love him. You love him. That's your guy.
That's my guy.
He's been special. He's been special. And he's put himself in that tier of like true number one wide receivers that you talk about in the elite tier of receiver. And it's a big reason why they have been so good to start this year. Darnold's been great. He's been great. The offense in general has been great. They supported it with a big trade today for Shaheed from the Saints. Just a great start to the year for a Seattle team that I thought was going to finish last in the division, and they've been very impressive to start the year. That's going to do it for us here on this edition of the program. Jim Rome is coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. We'll talk to you tomorrow. A lot to break down. The Suns, the rest of the trade deadline, and who's going to start at quarterback for the Cardinals. Everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.